Welcome everybody to the next Sonar PC podcast with Rob Adomus on YouTube and www.sonarpcpodcast.com episode. Well, sometimes it's a little troubling to figure out what I'm going to talk about for the next show. Well, this week's was pretty damn easy. Canada is in an uproar. Why? Well, first of all, our national sport, hockey, along with one of our hockey icons, Mr. Don Cherry, took a gigantic hit in terms of flack from really just a few people. But in this day and age, apparently offending people seems to be the norm with nothing. Well, I want to bring something all together with the details because what ended up happening with our atypical fake news media outlets, and we're talking about Bell Media, who along with CTV and owns Sportsnet, decided to fire Don after 35 years with Coach's Corner, which has been a staple, along with Ron McLean, for Hockey Night in Canada. Well, as of Saturday, that is now a gigantic blip on the screen. So I'm going to bring some details to everybody for clarification purposes. And for the hundreds of thousands of you, along with myself, who've already gone so far as to sign a petition for Don's reinsertion on Coach's Corner, thank you for doing so. Because we are in the right. Sportsnet, Hockey Night in Canada, CBC, CTV, all of the usual suspects are wrong, along with some names I'm going to bring into this particular discussion, whom up until 2 days ago, I have no clue who these people were. Okay? So anyway, let's bring into focus what Don actually said. Okay? Don, along with millions of us in Canada, and by the time the show airs, first of all, I should say a belated Happy Remembrance Day, Veterans Day for our folks down in the U.S. Thank you for your service in the past and for those of you who are serving now. And that's exactly what Don was bringing up in his statement the other night, in that he used these two words, you people, didn't discriminate anybody, didn't speak of any particular group, any particular color, any particular belief system, just you people. And he pointed out the fact that this little item here, significant to the memory of those who've lost their lives and who fought for the freedoms of not only Canada, but the United States and around the world. This has been a symbol literally forever, in the honor of those people. Well, a few people got upset over this term, you people, which has been used more times than I care to count by probably just about everybody in North America. And Don was fired. And I had to say that I was so disgusted by Ron McLean for not standing up for his co-host and who I thought was his friend for these decades together. He bent over like the cuck libtard puke that he is, just to save apparently his own job. Well, he's not very good at his job, but he wants his salary. Don simply said, people need to wear this poppy in order to honor our service men and women through all the decades and present day. He was 100% right, and he got fired for it. Now, some other details in regards to this. The backlash has been so overwhelming that the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council is no longer accepting complaints about the 3 broadcasts related to Don's firing after receiving, in their words, a large number of complaints to date. Large number means hundreds of thousands, okay? Now, the complaints are for separate incidents. First of all, Saturday's Coach's Corner, the segment where Don said, you people. But interestingly enough, the entire clip wasn't played. just cut and spliced, like media tends to do. Okay? So, number 2 incident was Dawn's firing by Sportsnet. Tuesday's episode of the show The Social, which I have never watched. I don't know who those people are off there. And does anybody actually watch this show? I know I haven't. And one of the co-hosts, Jessica Allen, made actual racist, bigoted comments about white boys, that would be me as part of that group, who played hockey. I happen to be a hockey player for 20 years, along with millions of others who are currently playing and those who played for decades and decades with me and before me. She hates hockey and hockey players. Hockey, our national sport. Those were her words, by the way, not mine. Then her co-host, Cynthia Loyst, another person who I don't know, never heard of, weighs her brainless mouth into the conversation to back up her pathetic host. And then Wednesday's social episode, they made a wasteful attempt to explain what Jessica Allen was actually meaning. Okay, well, there was no apology in this, and I don't expect that one is forthcoming. Okay, so let's be very clear about what she meant by all of this. First of all, again, racist, bigoted, pointing out a particular group, white boys. Okay? Apparently putting white people down is an okay thing. Not in my view. Not putting down anybody, for that matter. But given that our leftist media allows for this sort of thing, Jessica Allen has not been fired as of yet, and I have an expectation she won't be. So, let's really get the meaning of what she was actually saying or trying to explain on Wednesday's episode. She really wanted to actually date white boys who are bullying, not very nice hockey players, but we didn't want to go out with her. Therein lies her negative personal experience for her comments. And after looking into the background of this individual, I can understand why none of these bullying white boy hockey players asked her out, because she's butt-ass fugly. So, there in plain English explains why she went off. Okay. So, I want to read something here in regards to the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council in regards to making a complaint. Now, again, they received a large amount, and to kind of summarize it, it says CBSC has received a large number of complaints about Sportsnet's decision to fire Don Cherry. The CBSC was not involved in that decision. Baloney. The CBSC has no jurisdiction over the employment or operation matters of its member stations, nor can it require a station to remove an on-air host. CBSC will not be accepting any additional complaints on this topic. The CBSC has not yet issued a decision on Don Cherry's remarks on Coach's Corner of November 9th. Now, given what Don said, I conducted my own little survey. So, I asked Canadians, people who are immigrants, including my parents, asked people on social media, is what Don said discriminating, racist in any way? Every last one of them, 100% said no. Okay, that's a consensus. From immigrants. Second question was, I played the clip from The Social in regards to what Jessica Allen said and what Cynthia Loyst backed her up on and what she said, and played that for all the same people. Guess what they said in consensus? Racist, bigoted, discriminating. Well, Dawn gets fired, Jessica Allen and Cynthia Loyst still have their jobs. Interesting? Not really. Expected? Yeah. So, I took it upon myself, and I'm sure a number of other people did, and I want to say thank you to all the people after I put this out as a message on social media, multiple messages actually. I contacted Sarah Grossman of Sportsnet and Eleni Tenuta of CTV and Bell Media. Now those are the two people who I believe are the direct people involved with the social and Sportsnet, who are the contact people in order to complain directly to. I put those exact messages out on social media as to what I said and our demand in order to have Don Cherry reinstated in his position in Coach's Corner and Jessica, Allen, and Cynthia Loyst to be fired immediately. Now, I don't have any expectation that I'm going to receive any reply from either of them. However, much like in Hong Kong, much like the Independence Day protest in Poland, and many protests for freedom and independence around the world, Canada, if Canadians don't continue to protest against what just happened here, then like anything else that happens in Canada, it just disappears without any word mention on national television, radio, because of who owns it, and then it will try and be swept under the rug. But yet Don will still be, if he doesn't get his job back, outed as some racist bigot, which he is not. So, like myself, many people have gone so far as to already cancel their subscriptions to Sportsnet and any related channels to the social and anything that might come along as sort of a secondary situation with all of this. And I fully expect a lot of you will continue to do exactly what we've done, and I hope what I will do is I will put the contact information in the body of this. This is sickening what's going on in Canada. And this is just a sickness that continues to fester. And if you don't get rid of a disease, it becomes a larger disease until such time it actually kills someone. This is what's happening in this country. It's sickened me, and it's sickened many of you, and obviously we just dealt with an election that we know was rigged. I had one individual claim otherwise on the two shows that we put out last week. Well, that individual certainly can stay anonymous because I believe it was a he, tried to say, oh, well, Trudeau is in. We got to deal with it. He won fair and square. Apparently someone who does no research is a libtard troll, or someone who's just completely mentally deficient. Because it's a good thing my audience, and for those of you who share these videos of mine and yours to the more awakened people, will understand that we obviously are in the majority in terms of what we actually knew what's happened in the election. And this is really a coup against Canada. Because we know what's happening down in the States, which is an absolute attempt to overthrow President Trump by a bunch of corrupt individuals in what we call the deep state. Well, we have that up here in Canada too. That's just another situation to take care of, because this situation with Don is just part of a gigantic cancer. This is one of those tumors within the cancer. So, again, I will put all that information, who to contact, Sarah Grossman and Eleni Tenuta. Their email addresses and phone numbers will be attached. So please reach out, because the CBSE might not be taking any more complaints, but that doesn't mean we can't continue to complain and make something that happened that's wrong right. So, there you are, everybody. Not a long show. You know what you need to do for the next step. So if you haven't gone and already subscribed and liked and shared the So Not PC podcast with Rob Adomus channel, please do, because There is something that's come up with YouTube just in the last couple of days, and I'm going to read this as sort of to end this show off. And that is, I might not have a show come December 10th. Here's why. And I'm asking you for your prayers on this, because we need shows. Even though I'm not a big voice in this kind of content, like the natural news with Mike Adams and InfoWars with Alex Jones and Savage Nation, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham on Fox News, every voice is important to getting all of our countries back to where we need them to be, and that's in our hands, not in the hands of a few corrupt globalists. So what YouTube has said is YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes, in its sole discretion, that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. Reads the change on YouTube's terms of service, which goes into effect December 10th. They have been getting rid of hundreds of thousands of conservative, Christian, Jewish, call it center to even right, websites demonetizing people for quite a while. This is another gigantic excuse for them, and YouTube's owned by Google, and we know how they scrub their algorithms in order to create no negativity to the Justin Trudeau's and Hillary Clintons of the world. This is a very bad thing for freedom of speech. And I know you guys know that, and you need to keep getting the message out there to those who are just in a sleepwalking zombie state. So, go do your own research, like I do always say to you, mantra of the show. Thank you always for tuning in and sharing the videos. Keep sending suggestions in terms of the topics you want to hear. I'll absolutely research them and put the content out there as soon as I can. And remember, again, subscribe if you haven't already to the show. And I really appreciate the numbers going up for the subscriber base. Really humbling for me. So thank you. And as I always like to end the show, God be with you and your family in all things. And good night.